It's my birthday. Welcome to MartiniWorks, where we help people mod their car the right way. It's not my birthday. My birthday was on Monday, but we're so happy that you're here. Now,
to you.
I'm going to continue on. Thank you so much for the singing. Dakota, if you guys and gals are looking for wheels, tires, wheel and tire packages, and of course, car parts, mod your car over at MartiniWorks.com, where we have a bunch of new brands on the website. We've actually added, and are right in the middle of adding, what I might say is the biggest brand for our Subaru enthusiasts.
Big one.
Cobb.
Wow.
We got Cobb coming on board. I know Dakota's pissed about it.
Corn on the cob.
Yes.
Why am I pissed about it?
I don't know. I just figured you didn't
I'm not
like
pissed
Subarus.
about it.
Everyone just
I had Cobb
thinks we
stuff
hate
on my
Subarus.
Dakota
SD.
hates Subarus.
I had Cobb stuff on my SD.
We're
I
going
had
to
their,
gaslight the audience into thinking
they
it's
had a
Dakota.
limited edition carbon fiber intake, shift knob, access port. I've
They do
been
make
in
a
the
lot
corn
of
on the
They
cob.
make a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They make a ton of, so much stuff that we had to make 3 new categories on the website. So if you're looking for stuff, please be sure to check it out over at MartiniWorks.com. For everybody that has purchased something off the website, whether it was a sticker, a shirt, or a car part, the notes that you guys leave us is always probably one of like the best things that we get to read when those emails come through. So thank you for doing that. We're actually going to make a page where I want all the notes to come through so that we can read some of them for the podcast, because you guys are way funnier than we are. But Dakota, we've got something to talk about today, and I want you to start it off.
Perfect. Okay, I have a challenge.
Oh.
Because at the time of recording, this is Alex's birthday. I don't ask much of you guys, but I want to get the most comments on one of our podcast episodes ever on this episode. So drop a happy birthday for Alex on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're listening on Spotify, go over to YouTube quick and drop the comment on there. I'm trying to get this video. I want to see if you guys have the power, if you can muster, if you can come together as a community and comment happy birthday. So now that we got that out of the way,
Is it mustard or mustard?
mustard.
Oh.
No, mustard.
That's what Kendrick says. Mustard!
There's no D. All right. Thank you, though.
The path to building a show car. If you want to get into the car show realm, what are some tips? What's some advice you have for building a show car? Because it is different. And there's a checklist that they quite literally go through.
Number one, I'll tell you right out of the gate, you got to get some real wheels.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real way around it, because
I would agree.
you'll find out in a real quick hurry whether your wheels are acceptable or not.
I kind of have a step 0, to be honest with you. Before that even, you need a clean slate.
Yes.
You can't go in with rust or...
Yeah.
Unless you want to make it
door.
really difficult on yourself.
Yeah, you need a clean car to begin with. You need a very prime example of whatever you're about to do.
Man, I would say, yeah, I mean, clean car, definitely a good start. 3, real wheels is obviously going to help you, especially at some of the more higher end shows. I would say like you can still start a show build with, different manufacturer wheels though. I think the rust and stuff is probably the biggest thing. I think a lot of times people just go trying to build the most extreme thing as fast as they can. So they'll go in and they'll get an LS400 and they'll immediately bag it. They'll put it on some secondhand works. Yeah. And that's all cool and stuff. But I would say if you want to get on the path of building a show car, you really have to be patient to do it right.
Yep.
There's a guy that I follow who has probably one of the most gorgeous cars of all time. His name is Ricky, and I think it's a Laurel, if I'm not mistaken.
Ricky.
And he's got this cream Laurel. It's just gorgeous. But he'll post once a month of something new that he's doing to this car. And he just got new seats in his that are the backs of them have been redone to match all of, I don't want to call it pinstriping, but it's the metal art that they do on the valve covers.
Yeah.
He did that on the back of his seat. So now the backs of his seats match the engine of his car, and everything's really coming together. But that takes months,
Right.
You know what I mean? And some of these parts just take forever. And I would say, taking your time with it, especially if you want this to be a car you own forever.
Yeah, it's sometimes you look, you'll go to a show or something like that, right? And you'll hit one of those cars where it's wow, they have done so much to this. It's how do they even think to do this little thing? There's so much attention to detail, yada yada yada. It's it's because they've probably had the car for 10 years. it's because they've had time to go through that stuff. It's like, hey, I've done all this other big stuff. What else can I do? And you start getting like microscopic with it. You start be like, oh, well, I want this to match this. I want this to match this. And it's like, the more time you spend with it, the more that you're going to be able to go through those like little things. And I think personally, that's what makes like a really like top tier quality show car
this was Richie's car too. Like, look at the
I feel like I've seen that car.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen this guy, and he's a really cool dude. He fucking
One of
works at Fortnite.
That's not Fortnite
or
car.
Epic. Yeah.
This is a super cool logo. But then look at the back. Like, look at the seat and the door open.
That's so sick.
Wait, no, that's a different one that you're thinking of.
Oh, is it?
It's a different one. This is
he
the one.
did the ghosting though too. That's very similar.
This is the one that's always on the trailer when that Bobby takes.
Yeah.
Like when we went to like Riverside, that's the one that was on there.
Sorry.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like the detail and like the window trim and things like that. It's all like engraved.
Look at that. He engraved the intercooler.
Oh my God.
Things like that
is insane. Like the level of detail, that is what makes, when you start getting into show cars, it's that stuff that's really different because you can't speed that up.
No.
There's no shortcuts for that.
And it's not, and that's something that you're not going to do first either. I think that's the big thing. It's like, you get a car like that, right? You get a car you're going to build for a show. You're not going to do those little tiny things first. You're just not going to do that.
You're not going to engrave the intercooler.
Right.
You don't need to do that right away either.
No, because you're going to focus on getting like the big things out of the way, which is fine. But like, that's how, like, again, you know that someone has had a car for either a long time or they just have an unlimited budget and just went all in on everything. But yeah, I personally think like a lot of, I think we've talked about it before, but like Stephen Chem has, that Lexus, and it's like, there's so many things like that are done. Or like, wow. But then if you look back, it's like, he's had that car forever, and it's gone through like multiple stages. I remember when I first met Stephen, the car was on air ride and had some Koenig ampliforms on it. Like, and now,
20s
and now it's huge. A completely different build. And it looks incredible.
Another tip I was going to say too, like if you want to actually bring home hardware, right? You want to win a trophy, plan out the show you're going to. A lot of times shows are reoccurring, so you can go and see what the judges are looking at. You should do this at any show regardless. See what the judges are looking at, because sometimes they're doing trunks or hoods, like your trunk should be popped when they're viewing it. Because even if your trunk is 100% bone stock and you have nothing in it, as long as it's clean and maintained, sometimes that can earn you a couple points. Where if it's closed, they'll just mark it as a 0. Now the guy next to you that had nothing in his trunk but it was open gets more points than you, and you can lose.
Yeah, a lot of people actually don't know that about car shows.
Yeah.
Is if you have an element of your car closed, they can't judge it and therefore won't score it. And so a lot of times people will lose and they'll be really upset that they lost because they're like, well, my setup was cleaner, like my exterior was cleaner, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't show
you missed a whole
your
category.
engine bay, and you didn't, even like the cleanliness of a show car does matter a lot. I always try to tell people, and I make this mistake all the time, which is you should get your car properly detailed before show day. There's so many people who I'll see like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, the show starts at 11, they had the car, raised up to the sky, and they're cleaning the barrels of their wheels from like the inside because it's got 10,000 miles worth of caked up grime and dirt. And it's like, a lot of times when you start getting into the picky stuff, like, yeah, people definitely look at that. And I think that that's really, really important. I know that judging car shows has also gotten tremendously more difficult because everybody seems to start now gravitating a lot towards kind of the same parts or the same manufacturers or the same sort of style, which is why I really like that Laurel, because it's taking that to the next degree. It's making something custom that you typically can't even replicate. You can't replicate somebody engraving an intercooler. And I know I keep talking about that, but there are little things like that that exist in certain platforms that you'll see that I think is super special. Even seeing the pinstriping and stuff that's coming back, that's not something you can really speed up, shortcut, or anything like that. And I think judges are ranking that super high right now.
Yeah, and I think if you want like a truly like car show car, you have to build it a little bit differently than like your traditional just like, I want my car to be cool. You have to cater it towards the car show because there's points in every category. There's things you have to meet in every category. And that's why sometimes too, you get those cars that you're like, how in the hell did that win this car show? How did it get best of show? That happens a lot. And I'm not just talking about the one I think is in Gatlinburg, right? We were all like, what the heck, when the Ice King or whatever won.
23, baby.
That happens all the time everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's because those cars, I'm not saying you have to build the car like that. You can still do it tastefully too. I guess I'm kind of throwing shade at that thing, the Game of Thrones car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Did you like it?
No. Wait, what?
Anyways, what I'm saying is they hit all those boxes.
Yes.
They earn points on every single thing, and that's why they win.
Yeah.
So
True.
sometimes I wish that car shows had more of like a taste category. It would be subjective, but
It would be.
it almost needs it though.
If you guys and gals are listening in and you've ever wanted to know what they judge most car shows on, I'll say a couple, and if I miss any, you guys let me know. But number one, a lot of times they're going to judge exterior and paint kind of as like their own unique thing. Then fitment, a lot of times the wheel and tire together is going to be judged off its own scale based on the suspension that it has, and then the brands of those pieces, the wheels and tires themselves. Then there's usually, if you wanted to start getting super, super picky, I know sometimes there are scores for glass, like Lexan glass, plastics, things like that, like restoration. And then obviously you have interior, so things like how well the OEM material is, what sort of seats are used, harnesses, steering wheel, shift knobs, any sort of carpeted material, sometimes even floor mats, because if you're getting floor mats from like HKS or something really unique, that will matter. And then engine bay is obviously a big one where they score on the cleanliness and the mods. Trunk setup, if you have an air setup, a lot of times helps a ton. Some people will do underside and judge by how clean the underside of a car is. And I want to say that's about it. Am I missing one?
Paint.
Yeah, paint.
Yeah, you said paint. To kind of tie in with that too, it's like your trim pieces and stuff like that. You know, they dry rotted or they chipping or they faded. You know, like just overall. Like I think there's one. It's like just overall condition of the car. You know, like
go ahead,
you know, if it's up north, obviously rust is something we have to deal with. You know, if you're in Arizona somewhere where we get a lot of sun, hot, paint and like I said, the trims and things like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think overall, like if you have any external or additional like body panels on the car, say you have a wide body or a body kit or something like that, the fitment of that body kit, like how well is it fitted to the car? You can go buy, a Liberty Walk or Pandem kit and have it fit just like a fucking, like Duraflex kit sometimes. It's like you can't just slap them on. You gotta do a lot of work, and sometimes that is the deciding factor.
So I got a good question for you guys then. Yeah. What do you think right now, what do you think is the best car to jump into to start in the show scene? Say you wanted to build a show car, you want something affordable, you want something that's easy to drive, and you want something that's got a good chance of winning out of the gate. What do you pick?
It's so tough because like a lot of those cars, a lot of people are doing, so you're getting thrown into like such a big category. And it's like you go to some of these big shows and there's like 40 BRZs and FRSs in the same category. And it's like, holy shit, how do you even compete against something like that?
And then the other thing is too, like, then the thing that's nice is like if they're common, there's usually a bunch of aftermarket parts available.
Yep.
But if you want something unique so it stands out at the show, now there isn't any aftermarket support, so you're doing everything custom. So that's a really hard question. It's like, how involved? Like,
I got it.
Okay. And it
Because
better
there's
not be a
my
Scion
own
TC.
question.
Yeah. What do you got?
Not a Scion TC, but it was in my brain at one point. The Porsche 944.
I've been seeing more and more of those. I think are they getting popular again?
They are. They're like the people buy 944s when they want the driving experience of a Miata, but they're just tired of everybody owning a Miata. I'm convinced because the 944 is super fun car to drive, not necessarily the most reliable and really not like the most fantastic. It's a really great driving car. It's still good. It's still a Porsche. But what makes those cars really fun is that with like an air suspension and a little mix up on the wheels, you can actually get like a Guards Red black leather interior manual Porsche to look immaculate because they just have that like wedge box design, like the 80s style. And I think they're different enough. The only other car that I would say that deserves a special shout out would be like an FB or FC RX-7.
Yeah, like the earlier generation.
Everybody jumps into the FD. They all want an FD. But I think sometimes the FCs are cooler than the FDs. And I think from a car show perspective, you could do a lot with just like a street port, some nice wheels, exhaust, lowered, clean up the paint, clean up the plastics, and you'd have a killer.
Yeah, one of my goal, like just like lifelong cars, is definitely like an FB RX-7
Yeah.
and just stupid clean, like just nicest example of it, with just some slight mods to it.
I wouldn't
want
wait
one
too
so
much
bad.
longer.
My
I know,
old,
that's-
It's just gonna
Yeah.
keep going
my
up.
old FB was so nice.
I know, like
and
that.
slow.
Yeah, and no one ever knew you had it, which was really weird. I remember showing up my first day at work at the old place, and I was like, whose fucking RX-7 is that? And it was like that day, some old dude came and bought it, and I was like, oh, guess I'll never know. And Alex was like, oh, that was mine. I had it for like 10 years. I was like, what?
Must have ran really good or something, because like Alex just gets rid of the cars that run really good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That was probably one of the greatest cars he had.
It was a
He
really
never talked about it, and he sold it. So
It was a really nice car.
must have been
Original.
fantastic.
Now,
It
if
was
it has
two-owner,
problems,
including me.
doesn't have an engine, it'll hang around for a
It
while.
had the red interior, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
Oh God, yeah. See, I love that.
and the white exterior.
See that's what I pictured.
I would say the best show car you can get right now is anything you're passionate about. Truly, I think you can make anything into a show car. I've interviewed people with Ford Tauruses that have gotten millions of views. I've seen a Subaru Baja that was STI swap that won best of show. So it's like, how creative are you is what dictates how good your show car can be.
Yeah, it's like what gets you hyped.
Yeah.
How much time do you want to spend on it?
Exactly, because you are going to be spending a lot of time on this car, so you better really like it.
There isn't really like a car you can just go buy and like, oh, you're going to win best of show. Like, that's not really how it works. Maybe it's some like,
A Bugatti Veyron,
yeah, there's some crap like that where
Ferrari
there's
F40.
there is a whole category of guys that print out the brochure on size 45 font and then have tons of pictures of their bone stock Corvette, and that's their car show car.
Wait, I have a question.
They do that, but
So we know the Corvette audience as the group that prints out the sign next to the car,
Yeah.
right? To
Yep.
brag about how
Yeah, yeah.
unique their car is. What do you think is our generation of that boomer energy?
I was just talking about this with someone, and it was like we were talking about cars, and they were saying something about, oh yeah, it was this special thing because it had this and this. I'm like, oh my God, we're turning into fucking Corvette owners because of the way we're talking. God, what was it? I can't remember.
I want to say like the premium S chassis guys. I feel like they're going to be next. They're going to be like, I have a Zenki original paint, this, that, and the other thing with original directional wheels. And I didn't SR swap mine. Mine still has the KA in it. And mine has one of 2,400 that were built for the Alabama market. Like, I'm trying to think of what group has so many versions of a car where the special
definitely-
editions have to be told.
It definitely always comes to the Euro platform for me. Volkswagens,
You think so?
100% with their special edition, like the colors
Oh,
and
but the 240 owners have so many. Like, I was doing the
Yeah, but
history on
like-
the S15, and it's like, you need to know everything about every version of this car ever made ever if you want to ever be convinced that you are a 240 enthusiast.
the thing is like the 240 enthusiasts. I would say the minority are trying to keep them like really clean and simple and like factory.
Okay.
Like there's so many of them just ratted out like that. That's you look at a 240 and like a like a Mark IV Jetta or something like that. Completely different audience. Like,
easy.
I'm not saying it in a bad way, but yeah, to me like the Euro stuff comes to mind.
Dakota?
I think it's just still the Corvette and Mustang crowd. I think it just, they still make those vehicles.
Yeah.
So I think it's continued now. You get the guys with the C8s, they're all parked next to each other. They all are bone stock. There isn't a single thing done to them, and they have the brochures out about them. They love doing that.
To be fair though, too, it's like you kind of look at Toyota's doing a lot of this stuff lately too, with like the special editions, like the GR86, the Supra special
I
editions.
feel like
that
people
they've
still
done.
mod those though. That's the thing, is
Yeah.
they still modify. I'm talking about the cars that just go to a show and they're bone
stock.
Well, and what makes it worse for me is like if it's an old car and it's still maintained that way and it still has all the original stuff, that's one thing. But if it's a 2020 and you're telling me all
Yeah.
the original specs, I don't give a damn.
the
You went and
C8s
bought it and parked it.
Yeah, the C8s and shit like that.
And I'm not saying don't be proud of what you purchased. That's cool. But at a car show, like I can go to the dealer. That's not a car show.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's what I'm thinking.
I just think it's interesting because now we're looking at Corvettes and we're saying, wow, those make pretty decent drift cars. Hey, wow, those actually make pretty decent track cars. Oh, wow, those things make pretty decent grassroots motorsport cars. And then you start driving, you're like, I really like this. This is a good amount of power. It's got the right transmission. It's got the right weight balance. And then you're like, oh my God, I want a Corvette. Am I getting old? Like, do you think that's what the person who bought the Corvette in like 2008 did when they were looking at a 1997 C5? I feel like that just might be the turn. It might just be the turn.
I'm not going to disagree. We are getting old. There's no doubting that. I don't think it's the same appeal, though.
I don't know.
I don't think it's the same appeal.
With that being said, we're going to take a small break, but not before talking about one of our partners of the MartiniWorks podcast, Malco Automotive. You guys and gals have seen us use it. You've seen us use it in short videos. You've seen it use it as cleanup for things. Outside of this stainless thing, I don't know what that stain is. It might actually be Tabasco. But Malco Automotive is an incredibly great detailing product that we use for all of our cars. We have certain kits that we made that are available on MartiniWorks.com specific for car shows, or if you're building your car show or show car, and you just want to have something in the back of your trunk, you can pick up one of those kits. It's shipped to you. It's all ready to rock and roll. It works absolutely fantastic. And we have very specific microfibers that we have available on the website. There are certain GSM, and they're actually also don't have any of like the little tags on them, so you don't have to worry about scratching up your paint. So if you're looking for any sort of cleaning or detailing products, you can pick that up over at MartiniWorks.com. And we want to say thank you, Malco Automotive, for being a partner of the MartiniWorks podcast.
All right. For those of you all shopping around for some new to you cars, right? Some interesting characters out there trying to sell some vehicles, interesting vehicles on the market nowadays. What are some of your biggest red flags when it comes to buying a used car? What is like the ultimate deal breaker that you'll just click off an ad or just walk away?
I know what I got. No further description of what they've got. Year, make, model, sometimes the price, and a general location attached to it, and then just I know what I got without the period. Biggest red flag, I'm out.
2 pictures.
Yeah.
If you have less than, I was just about to say, if you have less than 5 photos and none of the interior, I'm not even going to message you and ask if you have interior photos, because if it was nice, you would have just posted them.
Yeah.
100%. Another thing I would say is if you show up and in person, you immediately notice things that they didn't bring up. I always make sure to ask. I say, is there anything wrong with the vehicle? Mm-hmm. Even something small, just let me know. I'm not deterring from buying it. I just want to know about it. Oh no, it's super clean. It's good. I get there. I find this. You're a liar. I don't trust you anymore. Bye. I'm out.
For me, it's chassis 160,000 miles, engine 20,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out.
Or engine 1,000 miles. You did all that work. You put it all in. You spent all that money.
Yeah.
And you just want to sell it instantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just built.
Mm-hmm.
Just built. Yeah. Just built. Just needs a tune.
Yep.
Just needs a tune.
Built, rebuilt title.
Title.
The
issues.
title one is always anything related to the title. Oh, like you said, we were kind of joking about this. Yeah, it's my buddy has it because it was actually his car, but I've had it for 5 years. No, I'm out. I'm done.
If you have the number with the letter of like M3, M4, M2, M5, and I look at your picture and I can very clearly tell that you took a 5 Series and you put the M badge on it, and then you try to go through in the comments to describe that what you have is almost an M5.
Because you swapped everything. Yeah.
There's there's not a big difference between the M5 and the 535, so it's practically an M5 and you get to save $10,000.
If you smoked cigarettes in your vehicle, I'm not buying it. I'm out.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
That shit stank, and it never go away.
No. I know there's like some things you can do to kind of help with it, but it truly never does go away.
I have a big red flag after I've dumped an immense amount of money into Becca's truck. I knew that there was a red flag, and I should have stopped, but Becca was so in love with this truck.
What was it?
He wouldn't shut the hell up. He would not stop talking in the vehicle as we were test driving it. And the only way and only reason people do that is so that you don't hear the things that are happening in the vehicle.
You don't hear the whole
They
and
want you to
piston
hear anything. They don't want you to hear the noise or rattles or anything like that. The dude would not shut up. Shut up.
if they don't list a price for whatever reason, it's listed as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like,
Yeah.
just make an offer or like,
I'm just feeling it out.
I don't need to
just
sell
feeling
it.
it out.
No.
Trying to get this is a feeler post.
And they get insulted when you give them a price.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you didn't say it. So obviously you have something you want. You know,
My
that's a good
favorite,
one.
my favorite part, and I see this on my Facebook every once in a while because we got a lot of car friends. Is they'll do that post. They'll post a Subaru WRX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, just putting feelers out there, and then somebody will offer like $7,000 for this, 2013, and then they'll screenshot it. They'll put it on their personal Facebook, and they'll be like, "I can't believe marketplace these days. People are ridiculous." And it's like, bro, your ad says shoot me an offer.
Yeah.
They shot you. They did exactly what you told them to
Listing
do.
the prices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is it's the seller side of lowballing.
Yes.
It really is. Like,
Yeah, they're like,
it's
I don't
that
really
bad.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're not going to list a price, you're a jackass.
Why are you even listing?
Why
it
are we
then?
talking about this? You're not selling it.
All right,
It's like when I go to a restaurant, there's no prices on the drinks or something like that.
that's
It's
how
like,
you know
what
you're
the
in
fuck?
trouble.
That's you're big, Drew. I got another one too.
Okay.
What am I doing right now?
Covering the license plate.
Why?
Yeah, I
Stop it! Stop it!
That's a red flag. That is 100%.
Stop it!
Have you guys ever seen, this is another red flag, have you ever seen the post, and I say this because I'm looking at Corvettes, and it's the thumb one,
Yep.
super common. The other super common one is when they take the car cover and they only lift it up a little bit and take a picture.
I haven't
and then
seen
put
that.
The cover
I
back
have
on.
seen that
I'm like,
before.
what are you doing? You are selling a vehicle, and all I have is the picture you took when you delivered it 15 years ago to your house, and then an over the cover, like shaky ass, underexposed photo of the front fog light. Red flag.
Or you got that friend, they bought something, post some pictures of it. Oh, it looks pretty cool. All of a sudden in a week, it's up for sale again. That's a red flag.
Oh yeah.
That's not normal. You're not just switching it up or you want something different.
Right.
Something's wrong with that.
My God, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that'll just immediately throw me off of
Okay,
a
let's
post.
switch it.
Okay.
Let's say you're selling something.
Okay.
What's a red flag that you find in people that are trying to buy your vehicle?
Oh my God, so freaking many.
What's the lowest you'll take? I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, I have a price.
The lowest
Either
I'll
you
take?
make me an
Maybe
offer.
yeah.
I'm not
That is
going to
the
just
lowest
come
price.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it's fucking listed at, bud. I don't know. I feel like whenever I've sold a vehicle, I've always been more than fair on the pricing of it. So that one always gets me too. It's just like, dude, like when I sold the RX-8, for instance, like, I've listed it for $8,000. And I'm like, I feel like it's a pretty decent price. It's a low mileage RX-8, wide body, on air, multi-piece forged wheels. Like, I know that the mods and stuff don't add up, but it's like, even just like other slightly modified RX-8s were going for more than that. And I'm like, I feel like this is what this is realistically worth with how it is. And I was still getting offers like $6,000, $5,000. And I'm like, you guys are fucking nuts. Or like, what's the lowest you'll take on it? Like that. Yeah. I'm like, 8. Yeah. Like, and sure enough, it's like, I did find someone like, yeah, I'll do it 8 right now. I'll come next weekend. And sure enough, I sold it within a week.
I have had someone too say, do you accept payments? No, I ain't the fucking bank.
No.
Yeah, I've
I ain't chasing you for money.
So I did that with somebody.
That's psycho.
I did that with somebody, and they gave me the large sum of cash up front, and then the rest was on a payment term, and it was for the R8, and it was supposed to be $1,000 payments per month for the next 12 months. So it was gonna be
I can't
$12,000,
believe you did that.
right? And I was feeling nice because the person seemed appropriate. It took me. I got a $300 payment via Venmo 5 weeks ago from the guy, and he's like, I think this settles us up. After paying,
It's been years.
after it's been on a payment plan for like 3 years, and he's like, yeah, I feel like we got this settled up. I'm like,
Maybe.
I don't even know. Like, I created a spreadsheet for him to like put how much he sent to make sure it was confirmed by me. No, just every once in a while I get like a random $300, $400, and it's like, thank you.
You should never do that.
So much.
Don't accept payments from anyone, even your friends. Just don't do it. If you can't get the money, you know who does do payments? The banks. If they can't get it from the bank, there's probably something going on.
Yeah.
Just
I think there's another a red flag for me that I'll see sometimes is when they nickel and dime you before they haven't even seen the vehicle.
Yeah, that's annoying too.
So I've done it where I was selling, I think it was a Subaru back then. I can't remember if it was the Subaru or the Datsun, but it was somebody who was like, hey, would you take 14 but without the wheels? And I was like, I would probably take, maybe 15 without the wheels. And the guy was like, well, those wheels are worth $920 and those tires are worth $740. So if you put those things together and you take that off the that doesn't equal that amount. You're trying to make money off the wheels and tires. I know you're trying to make me. And it's like,
I don't owe you shit.
Whoa, settle down. That's the price without the wheels and tires. You can say no. You don't you have it where they argue with you before they've even come to check out the vehicle. And that blows my mind. How are you arguing with me before you've even seen it?
You know what's another red flag of you're going to buy a car? And the 1.8T kids are probably the worst at this. But other platforms too. You go on Marketplace, you're scrolling, you know how you can do the photos and video now?
Yep.
And the video is of them doing two-step with pops and bangs and fire shooting out of it. I would never touch that car with a 50-foot pole. Why someone thinks it's a great idea to post a video of them just redlining the absolute shit out of their car and dumping the clutch is beyond me.
I was literally just going through, because you can go through your messages on the Marketplace side of things. I was just going through all the RX-8 ones. On the side of selling it, what's a red flag? People who ask you questions that are straight up in the fucking main description of the ad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, what size, or how many miles on it? Or what wheels are those? What body kit is that? I'm like, did you read 2 sentences into the ad?
That drives me insane. I screenshot it and send it to them. That's what I do. I don't type it out.
I had one time where somebody, it was like that. I was selling a car and it was all I take a lot of pride in my ads, looking really nice and clean.
Me too.
And I did that. I was like, hey man, all the information is in the ad. Please read the ad. Period, 2 periods, period and period. He screenshotted it, put it up on Reddit, and was like, Alex Martini is a fucking dick. This is how he talked to me when I was trying to buy his car. And the comments lit his ass.
Good.
I'm glad they said
How do you go about posting Reddit is such a funny place because that shit happens all the time. It's how do you think you are so in the right here?
Yeah.
And I just love when they just get
straight up, it's
blasted.
Paragraphs of information, album drive links of you to click so you can see all these photos, everything good and bad with the car. And you're ask the super silly question. Hey, it's in the ad. Please read the ad. The dick, he was such an asshole to me. He told me to read the ad.
One time.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a quick story of selling a vehicle that was horrible. Probably one of my worst experiences trying to sell one. I had my Duramax. It was stupid clean, not speck or rust. The person I bought it from stored it in the winters. I promise you guys, I was asking the most reasonable price for it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but this thing had
$90,000.
It was under 100K miles. I was pricing it quick. I just wanted to sell it and move on to the next thing. So I priced it aggressively. Young kid comes to check it out. He's hemming and hawing forever. Finally, we get to the point. He's like, can I test drive it? Yes, absolutely. We go. I'm thinking we're going to take it around town. Over half an hour of test driving it.
Jesus.
Okay, he wanted to make sure. Fine, whatever. That was ridiculous, but okay. We get out. He's like, I know these things kind of can have coolant issues and stuff. I pop the hood for him. I'm like, there's no leaks. It's not smoke. There's nothing. Temperature's good on it. He goes and untwists the coolant cap. It explodes because we were just driving it for 30 minutes. Coolant over everything. I don't know how he didn't burn himself. Yeah. Luckily, he didn't. So there's coolant everywhere, over everything. He then proceeds to offer me $5,000 less than our agreed upon price when we talked before meeting up. We agreed on a price that was less than my asking price, and then he lowballed me $5,000 more after he blew coolant all over my truck, and then proceeded to call his dad and ask for more money, and then said, sorry, my dad won't give me any more money. That's what I can offer.
That's fucking
insane.
That was one of the worst.
Holy
I did not sell the truck to him. He did not get it for $5,000 less. And then I had to go try and clean the engine bay of coolant because now the next person I meet up with is going to wonder why there's coolant all over the truck everywhere.
What? Oh my God.
So I got another good one too. So this message came to me on May 17th, and we'll skip the guy's name. But I have this natural tendency that these cars that I sell always find their way back into my inbox. Always. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know how. There are people like on my Instagram, I still have the guy who owns my Z from way back when. And even my 3000 GT SL, the car that I had would be 14 years ago.
Oh my God.
Still know the guy because he's on my Facebook. So it's fine. It's whatever. The worst thing I always have to deal with is people asking questions like months and sometimes years after I've sold the car. And then they'll get mad when either I don't answer or I don't know, right? Because I haven't owned the vehicle.
Years.
And so this guy messaged me on May 17th and he said, I think I have your old AMG E55. Please HML man, which I think is hit my line.
I'm
My line.
almost 30. I don't.
Ligament magenta.
So then I messaged back and I said, oh yeah, what's going on? And he goes, yeah, bro, it's giving me an ESP error. I guess the people who had it bypassed the suspension by grounding wires. Then sends me the picture of the car blowing up on the goddamn flatbed.
What did he want you
Still
to
on those
do?
Rohanas, huh?
What did he want you to do?
I said, my brother in Christ, I have not owned that car in 8 years. And he's like, I'm like, that's crazy to see. And he goes, yeah, bro, for real, LOL. And I said, how much did you buy it for? And he said, still paying for it, actually. People who had it let me make payments.
Oh.
Then on May 28th, literally 8 years later, yes, do you know how to clear the code for the ESP system? That is what I am dealing with in my Instagram messages sometimes. Like, I swear to God, it's insane to me.
Yeah, that is my biggest nightmare about selling vehicles is like that it can be years down the road and it's still going to be somehow my problem.
Dude, my favorite vehicle sale of all time was the Nissan Z. The guy called me, told me he was interested, told me he was serious. He was going to have a friend come check it out. The friend knew exactly what to look for. The guy's like, send me every picture, every video, everything that you've got on it. So I did. I sent him everything. His friend comes, checks it out over at the local parking lot. We take it for a drive around. He's like, yep, it's good. I'm going to take a couple pictures, a couple videos. Goes, parks it. Good to go. Next day, guy says, what's your bank information? Wires the money. Next day, car gets picked up. Have not heard from that man since.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Nothing.
I don't get
Book.
reached out to about
Book closed.
any of my cars I've sold. The closest thing is when I sold my 20th anniversary GTI. I sold it to a guy. He took it and he didn't have it long. He sold it. Another guy bought it right away. That guy blew it up. And then I was getting tagged in every video on this guy's TikTok about how his car blew up. And that was just over and over. And I have Dakota's car. It's like, dude, it's not even, I sold it to someone else. I don't even know who you are. Yeah. And but after that, it kind of cleared up. And I think he's swapping it and getting a new 1.8T in it.
I have a weird question because we all own modified cars. This is a weird question. Yeah. Does it ever bother you when a new owner buys your modified car and then claims they built it?
I can't say I've ever had that.
Yeah,
because I've only sold like 2 of my cars. Now, I have not heard anything from the new owner of my RX-8. They bought it, they picked it up, gone. Have not heard, seen.
I always
anything.
think it's weird when like years later, the car still looks exactly the same.
Sure.
Like with my ST, when I sold that, like even the stickers I put on it were all still there. That just feels like a little weird. Like change something. Don't you want to make it yours like a little bit? Yeah. But now it's completely, it got tore down and everything. But I always thought that was weird when you like sell a car, like you do a build on it, you sell it, and then for years it stays identical.
Yeah, there's almost a weird part though about it too, where it's like
if they
change something and you feel like you really did it right, there's a part of you that's like, ooh.
Yeah, I'd rather them do it. I'd rather them just make it their own and really enjoy it.
Because I remember when I sold the FRS, I got a couple updates from the guy, and it's like I didn't mind that. You know, It was like cool. You know? And I think he wrapped it. He could put a carbon hood on it. It actually looked really good.
Nice.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude. And then I never really heard much after a couple months after that. But I was like, that was cool. I like
the
that.
updates that are just like casual updates. Yeah. Like Travis, the guy who bought the Gloria, he shot me a message, I think about 3-4 weeks ago. And he's like, hey, Alex, just wanted to let you know the registration in Pennsylvania went through. So everything's good there. And I thought I'd let you know that it's going to be at its first track event next month.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, that's super cool, man.
Good
Good luck.
Cool, yeah.
Like, I like those things. Okay. Before we end this segment, let's shake it up.
All right.
Okay.
Speed round.
Wow.
Okay. Give me green flags of people or things in. Oh, so let me rephrase this. Green flags you look for in marketplace ads for cars.
A folder with service history.
Oh man, I gotta think about it. You go.
Cohesive paragraphs.
Professional photos.
Good grammar.
Ooh, underrated on that one. That one's really good. Yeah,
like
you spelled everything right.
Yeah, kind of along with Alex of like I can actually read this and understand what's going on.
Has a cons or issues area.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, to go along with that, like listing any sort of issue, even if it's like, oh, it's got literally a burnt out taillight. Okay, I'd like to know those things.
The license plate.
Yes. Basically all the opposite of the stuff that we mentioned in the first half of this.
It was shot in daylight.
Yeah.
I would say another one. I actually got this when I think it was, I don't know if it was with the Datsun or the Mercedes, but I remember I bought a car and the owner was like, I'd really like you to pick it up before 4 p.m. And I'm like, okay, sure. I don't know if I'll meet that. He's like, I'd like you to pick it up because I want you to see it during the day so that you can make sure you know everything that could be wrong with the car because it's not perfect. And I remember like looking back at that now, I'm like, that was such a nice way of saying like, this car isn't perfect. You need to make sure you're okay with it before you take it home at the dead of night and then complain about it the next day because I don't want it to be my problem.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, when you reach out to someone, like, just in how they respond. Like, are they being...
Super short.
I hate when people are just like super short and blunt. It's like, I get it. Some people just talk like that, but it's like, you know, I usually go to them. It's like, hey man, really love the car. Like, here's like some questions about it or anything like that. Or it's like, are you available like this weekend? I can come look at it. Just let me know. And they're like, yes. I'm like,
when,
like, you know, I'm like repeating myself one sentence at a time. It's like, I can't, you know.
I think sometimes it is tough because I do window shop. Like I definitely window shop because every once in a while I'll shoot a message off and like, I don't respond, but the problem is like I forget.
You dick.
Yeah. Like dirty.
Well, like sometimes
you're the problem, man.
No, sometimes I legitimately just like forget. You know, it's like you're just doing the old marketplace browse.
But the problem is, it's like you and 50 other people. So now I have fucking 50 messages of people that are leaving me on.
I'm the problem. I know I'm the problem. I'm just saying.
I ain't with you on this one.
I'm just saying that sometimes I just feel bad.
At least you're honest about it and you know it's a problem.
I've never messaged someone on Marketplace and then forgot about it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Really?
That's crazy.
I have accidentally hit. Is it still available?
Yeah.
But I come clean. I'm like, I accidentally hit that. I'm sorry.
Well, no. Like, if I went to my marketplace right now, let's see the last time I shot a random ass marketplace ad out. Hold on.
I have one way worse than what Alex does.
No, see, well, these are all unread, but I'm pretty good. You know, the last one was for a large modern cedar plant box for my wife so that she could start to learn how to
go buy that.
Yeah.
What
do you got?
My buddy lowballs people and he will message them for like a week straight trying to get the lowest price possible. And then when they agree to that lowest price, he ghosts them and doesn't ever message them back again. It's like he just wants to know how low he could get it for.
Yeah.
And I've told him, I'm like,
game with him.
Yeah, I'm like, don't do that to people. Well, I was thinking about buying it. We both know you weren't gonna buy it.
Can I tell you something that I think about like late at night appropriately? I think about how the scams of RuneScape 100% would be effective in Facebook Marketplace 100%. Because you and a buddy, right? Mm-hmm. You find an ad that you both can kind of gang up on. Mm-hmm. You contact the seller at slightly different times. One with the lowball offer that you know is going to get initially designed.
Oh, I've done this.
And then you get the other guy to come in with an even lower offer, and then you let the lowball guy just hammer him like shitty interaction, and then the guy slightly above is the super nice guy. You play good cop, bad cop on a marketplace ad, and then finally the seller would be like, honestly, dude, just take it. I'm so tired of these people picking on me, and you did that.
I honestly, I swear on my life, it didn't work.
You're a bad.
They saw right through that shit. They
Stop-
also played
just
RuneScape.
stopped responding to both.
They're like, I know
Oh
this tactic.
shit!
I know this tactic.
I used to do that.
Such a good idea.
I
yeah.
used
It's
to do
weird.
that
They
in Vera.
counter offered with like gold trimmed armor or something.
I was looking for a kebab. With that being said, we're going to take a small break, but not for talking about another partner of the MartiniWorks podcast. Gels, take it away.
Yeah, you know what's a green flag when shopping around for cars? If they're on Fortune Auto coilovers.
Let's go.
That's a huge green flag because they got good taste and quality
And the
parts
coilovers are green.
assembled right here in the U.S. of A. Fortune Auto, they've been a longtime supporter of MartiniWorks and the MartiniWorks podcast, and even before then, we've been putting Fortune Auto on many of our vehicles, whether we're daily driving them or building something specifically for the track. They are typically our go-to for pretty much everything here in the shop. You just threw some in the M4.
Yeah, it feels incredible.
It feels incredible. I have them on my 240. Dakota, you've had them on an array of vehicles.
Yep.
And they're awesome, from the 500 series to the 510 series. Even if you want to get really crazy with some like two-way adjustable coilovers, they have pretty much anything you need. They're all custom built. They're built for you and what you are doing with your car. Can't say enough good things about them. And of course, you can check them out over at MartiniWorks.com. And if you need help figuring out how to get those set up, you can reach out to us. We'll work with Fortune Auto to get them built for what you need. And you really can't go wrong with them. So you can check them out over at MartiniWorks.com. And thank you so much for Fortune Auto for sponsoring this podcast.
Breaking news. Street takeover participants, including spectators, may soon face heavy fines. What are your thoughts?
Were they not getting fined
How
before?
have they not been getting? Why is I go 10 miles over the speed limit and it's like the end of the world? These fuckers can do whatever they want in an intersection. They're like,
Nobody gets to
just
go.
go home.
Yeah. Hey, don't do that next time though. Not here in this intersection.
Yeah.
You know what's incredible is that the fine, right, is slated to increase from $500 to $1,000. This is particular as we look to Los Angeles County officials are trying to increase the penalties for anyone participating, including spectators.
I do like the spectator bonus. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, so one of the big things has been that they think that they're just going to fine them more. The one time I think I saw a really nice, refreshing update was actually a couple weeks ago, and I want to say it was the GSP, where there was GSP is the Georgia State Patrol. They do not fuck around. Those guys, they will clip you if you're speeding at like 90 miles an hour. They will T-bone you. You will not get away from the GSP. They're like the final boss, 5-star, most wanted. IRL.
They're cross.
Oh, yes. Dude, straight up, if you ever want to just like laugh a little bit, go watch GSP takedown videos. They're insane. Anyway, there was a street takeover in what looked like a warehouse parking lot, and the GSP went to go break it down, and one of the BMWs that was like driving away, like trying to get away, turned around and then like booked it past the cops, trying to, kind of like run away from where everybody else was heading. So the cop just turns around, right, follows this BMW, and must have been going 40, 50 miles an hour. Like in a mall parking lot, they always have like the trees in like the little embankments.
Yep.
The cop just straight up pitted him into the tree. Smoked the BMW. The whole thing engages the airbags, everything, right? Yep. The cop pulls around, opens the door, then he's like, get on the ground. And he's like, you ain't. The guy's like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened to my car. And the other guy was like, you ain't driving this thing no more. Like the cops were like egging on the guy, and it was the best thing ever.
Holy shit.
So you think it's legit? You think it's good?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I'm kind of glad that doesn't
Hate it.
exist as much here.
Good.
Just a matter of time before like everyone posts those videos, and then they're able to use like facial recognition from the videos, and then just like Facebook message you're fine. And then if you don't pay, you get a warrant,
$1,000,
and they just come to your house.
Oh, I got a good question for you guys. This is a good one. What car brand is the least controversial?
Suzuki.
You
Never hear anything
you
about
never hear
Suzuki.
someone talking shit about Suzuki.
You
Ever.
really don't, do you?
No.
They're just happy to be there.
Yeah. I feel
I
like
don't know if they're happy. They're just there. They're just there.
Honda used to be. I think everyone kind of just accepts
the problem
Honda
is,
now.
even if you're good, when you're that big, there's something controversial. Like,
Yeah.
it's just.
It was
is
always
what
like,
it is.
oh, the Civics at 3 a.m. kind of thing, but it's like modern Honda, like pretty refined.
Yeah.
Like, it's looked upon different.
Yeah.
Somebody with the Reddit name Elder Millennial, just Volvo.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Just with one thumbs up.
It's not controversy because they just cost too much.
Somebody else said Lexus.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I think Volvo's probably the least controversial. Next to like Subaru. I don't really like in the general sense, Subaru's not doing anything.
I would disagree. I'd say
controversial.
well,
I don't know
I'd
how
say
the hell
dropping
you can say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
What are you on, my guy?
Yeah,
What, just because they canceled the STI?
and switched it to an EV.
Yeah, that's a little controversial. For like the
fact that their engines blow up constantly, or the fact that they just brother, what are you talking about?
Okay, I take that one back.
Right,
the fuck?
They're most controversial.
No, they're not the most controversial. They're like minimally.
I would almost argue that they're the most controversial.
Toyota, no, Stellantis is more controversial. Easily.
Getting the
Okay,
dog all right.
we're going from not even being controversial to like, oh well, it's not the most. Pick a side, dude.
All right, what else do we got going on here as I try to get out of this hole?
I'll delete that part.
BMW has a higher demand for the M5 wagon in the U.S. That's exciting.
Hell yeah, they do.
I want an M5 wagon in the U.S.
Yeah, it's gonna be 160 grand.
I can look at them from afar and say, yeah, we got them.
Hey, that's cool. I like that car.
This is actually a good one I read up because we had the Indy 500 just a couple weeks ago. And this was really funny that the Indy 500 pace car had more horsepower than the race cars in the Indy 500. And it was a factory car.
That's crazy.
The new Chevy Corvette was the pace car of the Indy 500. Comes with 1,064 horsepower. Had more horsepower than the race cars.
Wild.
I got a hot take. Is Indy? I don't know shit about like racing like that. They call it the Indy 500 because there's 500 laps.
Yes.
I think so. That's the Daytona 500, right? They do 500 laps.
I thought it was 500 miles.
Well, you were both wrong.
Oh,
The Indy 500 consists of 200 laps, with each lap being 2.5 miles long for 500 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's right. Okay. Regardless, 200 laps on that. I know it's something they do some crazy amount of. 200 laps is a lot. I feel like we're in TikTok brain mode across the world right now, right? No one's fucking watching 200 laps. Chill out.
Same thing.
Let's cut her down, boys.
10 laps.
No!
10 laps. Chaos from 1 to 10.
Yep.
Everyone is trying to win. You're not
Gran
just
Turismo online lobby
you're-
type shit.
You're not trying to be just consistent, smooth. No, you need to get to first. You need to hurry up. There's freaking 8 laps left. Chaos. We need that energy. Stop 200 laps. You get 10. That's kind of a lot. Even
I'm with
five.
ya.
5
I'm with
laps.
ya.
And you know what? In between those races, put 1 lap races.
Ooh. Just real quick out the gate. Little sprint race.
Yep.
I was watching Kyle Larson try to win all the things on the same day because there's been a lot of racing, like back-to-back racing.
Summertime, baby.
Indy had and then it had like, what was it, the Coca-Cola or something like that. There was another race in the evening. He spun on both. Whatever, fine. But then I realized that we get a triple header on endurance racing too, because Le Mans and Spa and the Nürburgring are back-to-back-to-back weekends coming up. So you think we're in TikTok brain mode now? There's 3 weekends in a row where there's 24 hours of endurance racing.
Yeah.
3 times.
See, you can't do that. The 24 hours of race. We need 24 seconds of race. Super short, super technical, 10 laps.
You're going to love drifting then.
I need more Weenie 500.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was iconic.
I think the endurance racing is cool, but I can't sit and watch. I had no desire to sit and watch it that long.
It's like a baseball game.
I hate baseball. Watching baseball is boring.
Yeah.
That might
No,
offend
but
someone super
going
bad,
to
but
baseball is super fun.
it's better. But I still left early when I went. I just don't. I can't get.
I don't find
it's deep rooted.
I don't find any sport outside of motorsports that fun to watch.
What do you find fun about watching motorsports?
Well, they're loud. That's fun.
That's cool for 5 minutes.
Sometimes a Corvette will stick their hand out of a small Lexan glass to flick off another driver.
That's fun. I like that part of it. Yeah.
I like when you have different classes racing because there's all sorts of debauchery happening out there because there's fast cars, slow cars, there's medium slow cars, there's professional drivers, there's non-professional drivers out there. That kind of makes it fun. I feel like when we went to go watch the soccer game with Continental, the most fun about that game
was being there.
Was being with Josh.
Yeah.
At a soccer game with Continental. It wasn't that I when I was watching the soccer game, I was like, oh my God, this is I was like, nah, I just like going up and down for beers. That was just fun. You know, it's like a little pastime activity. And then you got something to watch every once in a while.
The game tied. And that's how it ended.
And then it ended. And it was so anticlimactic.
I was so pissed.
It was like the old.
Because I was finally kind of getting into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, okay. And then it tied. And they're like, game done. And we're like, no one won. What the fuck? Like, could you give it like 10 more seconds?
It was like the ultimate edge. And then it was over. That was it. And they weren't even like, it was like, oh, well, because they had 8 minutes of breaks or whatever it is. I'm like, I was not paying attention to any of that. Yeah. Like, I just thought it was.
Everyone is just like, everyone went from going just absolutely batshit crazy. I've never seen crazier fans than soccer fans. Going from that, just be like, oh, tied, done. All right.
They just for real.
That was it.
Motorsports related, like I feel like I really only enjoy watching rally or rally cross. That's the only one that really holds my attention. Just like lapping over and over and over. I like checking in on it, you know, for a few minutes, but like I can't sit there and intently.
Yeah. I like watching like Formula Drift and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's one where it's like it's not like until like the end. You know, because it's like I'll watch like the top 32 and stuff like that, and you know, there's some like good battles and stuff in there. But it's like 16's where it gets wild, and then like it's down to like the grade 8 and stuff, and it's like okay, this is where it really starts getting
like
you know, intense.
I usually say I'll put on the top 32, right? I will do an activity while I'm watching the top 16. Then when we get to the top 8, I'm making a drink.
Yeah.
Then in like the final 4. I am
you're sitting in
the actual Formula because like for me it sometimes it gets a little repetitive
and it's long.
I love my boy Jared and Jacob is doing fantastic as a commentator. I love him. He's probably been the best addition to commentary.
It's so cool that he's doing that.
Yeah, but like sometimes I hear the same things and I can tell that they're just kind of like burning time and I hate wasting time. So I'm like I don't want to listen to this. So I'll mute it and I'll just watch and I'll do something else. You know
it's a time commitment. Like it's long. Like it's a whole day thing to essentially watch. So it's like it's not quick by any means. So but I do enjoy like catching it.
I think why I like Formula 1 a little bit more.
And like how many laps is like a Formula 1 race?
Like 52 to 57, I think, or something like that.
That's better. It's still a lot.
Sometimes 72.
Laps.
Depending.
Jesus.
I think it's mileage.
What a weird ass number.
The tracks need to have you have to hit a certain amount of mileage. The only one that I think is different is Monaco. But then they did like a 2 pit stop strategy this year. But I like it because you have
That's the reason I want.
So much different camera angles and you have different battles happening throughout it. So there's multiple things happening on track for things to be interesting. The reason I like endurance racing, for instance, is because since you have so many different classes racing on the same place, there's usually always something worth watching happening on track. There's a battle or somebody crashed or somebody's getting really close to doing a pass or something's messed up in the pits. With soccer, I just kind of get a little bored.
Hear me out. You just do all those classes, but individually for like a 20th of the amount of time.
That's called sprint races. They did that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like Formula Drifting I would watch a lot more if there was like real time scoring and it wasn't so subjective. Like it's too wishy washy for me. I think it's cool. I like enjoy and see who wins, but like I can't follow it closely because like I never know what's fucking going on.
I do think it's getting a little interesting, to be honest, and I think last year Adam LZ kind of opened that door of here's my take on their scoring or their decision. And I don't know if you've seen that, but I've kind of seen some of that flip now where I'll see drivers in Formula Drift where something will happen, like a controversial call or something, and they used to not really say anything. Well, now they're saying stuff. And I know that that's kicking up a ton of engagement for the sport as well, where it's like somebody gets hit or somebody gets deemed as not winning that round, and like a few days later, you'll see Formula Drift blank from my perspective. And like people be like, oh no, you were in the right, you were in the wrong. And now you've got like this huge kind of conflict. I don't know if they're doing it intentionally. I just see it almost every round.
Yeah, I don't know.
But hey. No? Okay. So
No, I think it's
yeah.
definitely bringing that different voice to it. Otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, that's what the judges said. That's what it was, and it's like end of it. But now you're getting the drivers like.
I will say racing is so much better in person.
Oh, 100%.
Than it is on TV.
1,000,000%.
On TV, it looks like they're going like 20 miles an hour. In person, it's like blow your socks off. Holy shit.
that's what people say about NASCAR. They're like, you hate NASCAR until you see all those cars come by you at like 200 miles an hour, and
Yeah,
you
like
feel that.
I've seen the videos of like little kids are by the fence and they're like getting blown away as cars are going 200 miles an hour past them. Yeah. Some stuff like even hockey for me. I really like hockey, but it's just a million times better in person than it is on
Hockey
TV.
is such a good sport to watch in person.
Because it's faster. And you see them guys check each other and you're having a drink and everyone's yelling.
Kind of a weird combination. I don't know what it is, but like the ice rinks always have that weird smell to them.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And but you get like that and like cold beer, popcorn.
Yeah.
There's something about like that mystical three things together where it's like, I don't know why I'm so
Dudes just
comfortable
beating
here.
the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
It's like the 21st century gladiator.
Dude, it don't matter if it's an NHL game or some fucking rinky-dink like, minor league team. You're gonna have a good time.
That's why,
It's like $3.
I love it. It's one of the only sports where it's like you get pissed off at someone, you just deck them. That's so sick.
And the refs are like,
they're like,
all right, we'll give it a second.
1 second.
All right, it's
enough. Done. Okay. And then they're cool. And even the guys are like, hey, good fight. Yeah, that was a good one. All right. And skate over to the penalty box.
I saw that on Instagram the other day. I watched one of the videos and I keep getting hit with it. But it's this dude and he's got boxing gloves on. He's like, day 76 of picking fights with my followers till I get knocked the fuck out. Today I'm in Paris. He's in Paris. God. And like he'll start walking around and he's like doing this. And then there's a guy in the park with his gloves on ready to fight him. Like they set up this and they just go at each other for like 2-3 minutes, and straight up they will go until he wins the fight. They're both tired, or he gets knocked the fuck out, and it is
that's
awesome.
insane.
Because afterwards, like the host will like get up. He's like got his shit just absolutely beat. He's like, yeah, bro, he's a fucking monster, absolute legend. Thanks for watching.
What the hell? That's
come
crazy.
to Wisconsin.
All right, hear me out. So for racing, F1, we have a new rule. While you're racing, if someone pisses you off, you can radio in and say, hey, I want to fight. All right, I'm going to pull over Max. We got to duke it out. All cars pull over where they're at. To the right-hand side.
Okay.
Everyone pauses. They get 35 seconds to get out of the cars and fight with their helmets on.
Okay.
Then you get back in the cars and you continue racing.
I like that idea.
One fight per race.
It's like the
Better make it worth it.
Yeah.
it's the American F1.
Yeah, that's Miami.
Yeah.
That's Vegas.
Yeah. I will say after watching the Miami race in person, it's crazy how fast it goes by.
Oh, yeah.
Even like the F1 Academy races and stuff like that, it's like 13 laps or something like that. So like you get out there and you start watching the beginning of the race and you go grab something and then you come back and there's 3 laps left. I'm like,
Jesus. Yeah.
the fuck did I just miss?
Yeah.
And like, oh, we got the Porsche Cup now. It's like sick. And then 20 minutes, gone, done.
I don't know if it's like the ad break shit that like when you're watching and you're like, oh my God, it's just taking forever. But it is like when you are there, that shit goes by so it's like it feels like there's never a break.
Yeah, because there really
But
is.
then it's on TV, you're watching, it's like, oh my God, get on with it. It's like,
Slow,
how
yeah.
is there just such a time difference? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we want to thank you for listening in on the MartiniWorks podcast. And of course, if you have any crazy stories about building your show car or buying or selling a car or just breaking news that you think we should talk about in the next segment, let us know in the comments. And of course, please don't forget to rate the podcast 5 stars if you're on Spotify or drop a comment if you're over on YouTube.
Forget the comment challenge.
If you're looking for car parts, mod your car with your friends at MartiniWorks.com. That includes wheel and tire packages, and we're trying to keep things as affordable as possible. We know that price increases have been a drag,
Shit sucks.
but we're keeping things the lowest legal price we can. And of course, we're here to help you throughout the entire process of building your car, whether you're looking for car parts, SUV parts, things like that. So happy to help. Dakota, close us up.
Conti.
Yeah.
Some of the best tires ever made, baby. Genuinely, one of my favorite tires is the ECS02 from Continental, and it just so happens that they're one of the major sponsors of the MartiniWorks podcast. They've been there since the beginning. That's why we love them so much. And We run Continentals on a ton of our vehicles, and we've been beating the crap out of them, and they've been doing phenomenal. They make them in a ton of different sizes. They have a tire for every situation that you need. So make sure you head on over to MartiniWorks, pick out which Contis you need, and if you need help, whether it's with sizing or you're like, here's what I do with my car. I daily it sometimes, but on the weekend I want to take it to autocross. We can help you pick the exact set of tires that's going to do the best for you. And Continental kills it with their warranties and everything that they offer. So a huge shout out and thank you to Continental for being a sponsor of the MartiniWorks podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.